Welcome to the longest running poker space. I'm Sherry Pluskota, your host, and I'm happy you're joining me live or will be listening to our space at a future time. Many thanks to my sponsor, Elevator Results. If you need a tailor made workout plan to help you lose weight or to gain weight, Elevator Results can design that plan. Follow them on Twitter or check out their site at elevatedresultspt.com. I'd like to give a little shout out to those of you that have checked in on me in the last week to 10 days. Was dealing with a couple of deaths in my family, and I really appreciated those messages. So thank you so much. Also, reminder you can find the recordings of my past spaces, including our daily WSOP coverage and all the interviews on my YouTube channel at Sherry Pluskota 9212. And don't forget to give a little subscribe to my channel. I've also been posting the 2023 WSOP daily coverages that Brian hosted and I co-hosted. So some of those are there too, and they're kind of fun to go back and listen to. A reminder, WSOP daily coverage will kick off on May 26th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 9 a.m. Vegas time, and that's a kickoff show. The very first day of daily coverage is the 27th of May. So the kickoff show is May 26th. Also, don't forget the meetup game is June 21st at the Bellagio, and that's at 1 p.m. Come one, come all. Many thanks to Sean and the staff at the Bellagio for hosting us, and of course, for the free pizza. I'd like to go ahead and introduce my guest tonight. I'm so excited to give a chat with Kenny Hallaert, who is from Belgium but currently lives in London. He once was a factory electrician, and Kenny has also worked for Unibet. Kenny is a PokerStars event advisor and is a board member of the Poker TDA. But most of you probably know him from his famous spreadsheet that we all use over the summer to figure out what tournaments we're going to play, and we're going to dig into that a little shortly. Kenny has over 5.8 million in total live earnings listed on his Hendon Mob, with his best live cash being 1.4 million for his sixth place finish in the 2016 WSOP main event. His stats include 123 WSOP cashes with 6 final tables. In the last month alone, Kenny finished first in the Irish Poker Open, 5K high roller for a little more than 140K. And more recently, just a few days ago, Kenny finished fifth in the PokerStars 2,200 euro high roller in Monte Carlo. In between both of those wins in the last month, Kenny cashed 3 more times. He is on fire, folks. Welcome my guest, Kenny Hallaert, to our space. Hey, Kenny.
Hi, Sherry. Good evening.
I'm so glad you joined us. For those that may not know, Kenny is overseas. And what time is it there right now, Kenny?
It is 1:30 actually at the moment. Yeah, I'm still in Monte Carlo here for the PokerStars European Poker Tour at the moment. So yeah, it's of course a bit of a time difference, but yeah, being a poker player, 1:30 is let's say feels more like at 10 p.m. for the majority of people.
And just for the record, I did offer to do it earlier, and Kenny's like, no, we'll just keep it like that. I'll be awake, probably playing in a tournament. So here we are. And I appreciate you joining me this evening, and I'm really looking forward to getting to know you a little bit better. So tell me, how did you get started playing poker?
A long time ago, I would describe myself as one of the old school people. I started playing poker already back in 2004, so that's 21 years now since I played my first hands of poker. So that's it's been a while. I got to know the game online. Basically, just clicked on a banner that says play poker here, and I always was a little bit interested into card games, and I thought let's check this game out, and the rest is history pretty much.
I love it. And let me tell you, you've been part of a lot of poker history, and we're going to unpack some of that here shortly. But before we do, tell me, why is Queen Nine of Spades your favorite hand?
Queen Nine of Spades. Yeah, that also have to go way back. One of the first years I was playing poker, an online cash game, and I remember having let's say, and I had an ace X of spades in my hand, and there were three spades on the board, and there was no pair on the board, and at a certain point on the river we went all in. I showed, I mean, of course, it goes automatically online. Like, I showed my ace, whatever, of spades, thinking I was gonna win the pot, and the pot got got awarded to my opponent. And my opponent happened to have Queen Nine of Spades, and he happened to have made a straight flush.
Oh,
So from that point on, it was like, okay, Queen Nine of Spades, that's gonna become my my favorite hand from now. So
I'll
it's actually a bit of a bad beat story that got me into the Queen Nine of Spades as my favorite hand, basically.
Well, that's definitely a bad beat story for sure. I mentioned you've been a part of several historical poker moments, and one of those is the fact that you were part of the last November 9 final tables. And so let's talk about that for a minute. Um, one of the first hands you played to start that day, do you remember that hand? You opened with an ace
Mm,
and eight of spades.
I don't remember anymore.
Okay, I'm
Was it
gonna
against
I'm gonna
Wojtek Ruska?
yes. Okay, so
Yeah, and
I
I see bet on the flop. He called. I turned a flush draw,
right, and so did he because he had the
and
king
so did
five of
he. Together
spades.
with a straight throw, I bet, and he jammed all in, and I hadn't. Yeah, I couldn't really call. Uh, Given pot odds and the situation. I mean, if I know he would have had that hand, that specific hand, of course I would have called. But
Oh,
I actually
right.
I happened to fold the best hand.
Well,
So
let me just, I want to go through it just for our listeners' sake. So, Kenny had the ace of and eight of spades, and the opponent had king five of spades. The flop was six of spades, seven of hearts, four diamonds. So Kenny had a gutter. His opponent had an open ender. The turn was jack of spades, right? So both of them then got to four cards to a flush, and his opponent jammed, and Kenny folded to the bluff. At what point, the reason I'm bringing this up is, at what point did you find out that you were bluffed in that hand? Did you know, like, did word get to you soon as it became public, or didn't you know, or when did you find out it was a bluffed hand?
I probably can't remember exactly, but I think I would have found out during play already. But those are things you kind of like. You shouldn't be thinking about much
Right.
while you're playing. Like, okay, the hand happened, and it's good to know that he had that type of hand. That he's capable of, like moving all in with a hand class that he had. But like, it's especially like it's a very mental. Yeah, of course, poker being a mental game, and you shouldn't let those hands get into your head, because
Absolutely.
because if you're gonna start to do that, then you're gonna start making more and more mistakes, and at that stage, of course, mistakes could become quite expensive. So like
And I'm going
I
to
I
tell
got
you from my point of view, I'm
I,
good not knowing until it's over, quite honestly.
yeah, but you kind of want to know like what people had, because you're still playing with those players at the same time, and with a 30-minute delay we were able to get that information. So it is, I think, quite key that you get the information, and it's more important what you're going to do with that information that you had. Like,
Right.
you shouldn't, like, afterwards I discussed this hand actually in particular, and I probably should have checked the turn in hindsight. I mean, not specifically because he had that hand, but just like as an optimal play, what in general you would want to do in
Right.
this that situation, like it probably would be a check. Not that betting would be a huge mistake, but yeah, it ended up being a hand that did cost me, of course, potentially a lot
Right.
of money because who knows? Like if I check the hand and flush comes in, like I probably might eliminate him, or I might just be able to get my hand to showdown and still win a reasonable pot at that stage. So
Right. And he may
yeah,
not have shoved all in, right? He may have just made a bet worthy of a call. So you'll never know, but those are certainly great things to think about in hindsight. Um, Tell us, what did you do during the time period of July and November to prepare for that November 9?
basically, studying a lot. I remember, taking actually a small break in the beginning, like just when I got back home
Right.
in Europe. Uh, yes, probably must have been. I guess main event is over around
Mid
between the
July.
15th
Right.
and the 20th of July. So got back home a few days later. Just went on a holiday that was planned actually already with friends just for a week. Enjoyed enjoyed that holiday. But then once that holiday was over, it was like, okay, now let's focus on what's gonna be at that point, and to this day still is the biggest moment of my poker career. So
Did you hire a coach, Kenny, during
yes,
that
I
time?
did. I hired Fedor Holtz. I contacted Fedor, asking if he was interested, and we set up a coaching plan. So throughout those following months, so all of like August, September, and October. We worked with, or I worked with Fedor and some other people that he appointed basically to help me prepare for that final table. So we did a lot of studying. I learned a lot through that period because I got coaching yeah
Awesome.
high level
Right.
players, especially like some of them actually aren't really playing poker anymore, but like for example, or like not really at a high level, but for example, just to name one person, Stefan Sondheimer, for example, who was part of the German high stakes crew at the time, who were really really doing well. Like he was one of my coaches. Did a lot of sessions with him. Really learned a lot, and the advantage as well was like everything I learned, like I could not only use, of course, for the final table, but I could keep all that learning experience with me in future events as well. And
Sure.
actually, 2017 and the following year was actually also quite very successful for me, and much of that success I have to thank to them, because it was because I learned a lot during that period from
You
them.
had some great
So
coaching.
indeed, it was amazing, and everything that I got to learn during that period. But it was definitely an intense time because we did basically like every other day there was a coaching sessions, and then the other days I was playing a little bit, but like
Sure.
and studying a little bit individually as well. So it was very very intense few months, and it then might sound weird, but because during that period the only thing you're thinking about is the main event final table. Everything else that comes at you during the time, you kind of push away. You're like, I'll deal with this after the final table is
Sure.
over. Like I don't want to lose any mental energy on this thing at the moment. Like for me, the most important thing right now is this, because there's yeah life changing money, of course, on the line. Like there's so much, yeah like you a lot of your future will depend on the results of that final
Absolutely.
table. And of course, like you don't have everything in hand. Like you can still get your aces cracked, of course. Like you are aware of that, but still you want to try to perform to the best of your abilities at the moment, and you want to make sure you're very well prepared. So, and then when the final table was over, like you all of a sudden your head just drains empty basically, because the only thing that you were thinking about was that final table, and the final table is over for you, and you're just there, like. And I had some family and friends visiting me in like for the final table, who were there to support me, and yeah, we spent a few more days, like a small week, let's say, in Vegas. Had a really good time, but then I got back home, and then I was yeah, and it sounds weird because you just come off a seven-figure score, and mentally, like the weeks after were like one of the most sort of like depressing weeks ever I had as a poker player. Even though, like, yeah, you are, yeah, you should be happy, but there's, yeah,
But it's
I
understandable. You
wasn't at the
spent
moment. Like one of the
months.
reasons. Sorry, say again, please.
I said it's quite understandable. You spent months preparing for that final table. So it's quite understandable that the week or even a couple of weeks to follow, there's sort of that letdown, even though you still finished in sixth place, which is amazing out of thousands of players. I mean, living the dream, but of course, still
And
close to that bracelet, right?
indeed, yeah. I mean, you're close, but still, like, you need to, yeah, still need to beat another five people. So, like, when you're six left, there's still only a 1 in 6 chance, let's say, that you eventually would become the world champion. But
Right.
of course, you are close in a way. Yes, you are close, like comparing to where you ever started the tournament. But still, there was still, yeah, a long way to go. And I started the final table in fourth or fifth, I think it was. So kind of you're, yeah, hoping a little bit to at least finish in fourth or fifth place. So yeah, small disappointment, of course, was there that you then also only
But
finished
just
in sixth place. But there's then, yeah, all those questions that you kind of pushed away. Then they're also coming back at you again. Like when once that
right.
final table is over, like, yeah, what do I want to do with the money? What do I want to do with my career at the time as a poker player? As because I was also a tournament director at the time. Like all of these
Right.
questions, like that you, yeah, want to try to find answers from, and you can't really clearly think actually as well at the moment. So yeah.
Well, and I'm just going to say,
Yeah.
I think that every person in this space can absolutely sympathize with you and relate to what you're saying, that you were so consumed for months and then all of a sudden it was
Yeah.
over. And
Yeah.
quite a special feat indeed. And just for those that are tuning in, we're talking about the um, Kenny's sixth place finish in the 2016 WSOP main event. And just to finish the story off, so to speak, the hand that Kenny went out on, his ace queen of clubs ran into uh,
Queenland is
Quinn.
aces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his wins aces. And I will note that Win actually went on to win that event and was
Yeah.
crowned the champion. So
Yeah.
he put your chips to good use, if there's any consolation in
Yeah,
that.
he definitely did, and he played. Queen played amazing actually. Like he just, yeah, he kind of ran over the table the whole time, and yeah, kudos to him. Like I think he was definitely was a deserving winner for that tournament. And
He
and
had a
and don't get
great
me wrong,
tournament.
like when I say that, like it was like afterwards a little bit like maybe not the best time of my life. Like I would still repeat it. Like if you
Sure,
ask me again today, like you want to do this, yeah, you want to do
of
this again, like
course.
sure, like yeah, I'm happy to yeah to yeah to repeat this
Now,
whole experience, of course.
is there anything besides the bad beat, your ace queen running into pocket aces to take you out, or that hand that you were bluffed in early on in that table? Are there any stories or memories from that whole, that entire event that just stick out for you?
Mm, not really, actually. That I yeah.
No problem.
No,
No
like
problem. Well,
I just like, I mean, it's still like the proudest moment in all of my poker career for sure, and it will be hard to top. Like I think even if I would uh win a poker tournament for the same amount of money. Let's say I win an EPT main event, for example, which on average will does award more or less the same prize. I think I still take the double, the final table of the main event over
Well, and
that.
that's
I mean,
because the final
hopefully at one day I will have to think about it, but
right.
at the
Well,
moment
and let's face it,
it's
the
topic
final
news. So.
table of the main event is what dreams are made of. It's the bottom of the ninth inning. There's 2 outs, bases loaded, and you're up to bat, right? And so um, it's going to be hard to beat a main event final table. Unless it's the time when you win that bracelet, then of course it's going to trump that sixth place finish for sure. I'm going to move on to some other history you were part of. In 2015, you made your way through the largest live poker playing field at the WSOP Colossus when you finished fifth place. Do you remember how many entrants there were for that Colossus?
At the time, it was the biggest live event ever held. If my memory serves me right, I think there were about 22,000 entries in
Yeah, I
that
think
one.
so. I think it was between 22 and 23,000. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't look it up, but that was kind of like my memory of it. Um, and can you tell us? I want to just kind of pick your brain because that is such a huge field. Did you register on time or did you late reg?
Wow. uh,
And if you don't remember it,
I
it's
might
not a
I
problem.
might have not been there for level one, let's say, but or hand number one, but I definitely was playing from a fairly early stage onwards. I don't know exactly anymore if I made
Don't
a
worry.
re-entry in that.
Don't worry.
Uh,
It
Actually,
was 10
that's
years
when I
ago. Believe me, I can hardly remember yesterday. So please don't think that, it's no problem if you just say you don't remember, Kenny, honestly.
but I was fairly. I mean, it was actually that tournament it had a relatively slow structure compared to similar structures. Actually, it was my second entry that day. I can see here because I do have my own database of all my
I
poker
love it.
results and entries.
How many times did you buy into that tournament?
I've made one re-entry I can see in that tournament. I don't know if that it. I think there was only one flight. If there would have been two flights that day, I might have been
Right.
playing in the first flight and then I'm busting the first flight and then playing the second flight. If there was only one flight, it looks like I relatively late ratched the second flight because it got eliminated. Looks like, relatively with a quarter of the field left in the first one.
Okay, now I'm going to pick
Uh,
your brain about what you're looking at because I'm sure it's a spreadsheet. So when
of course, it's a spreadsheet. Live is a spreadsheet.
so tell us if you don't mind sharing, what does this spreadsheet kind of look like that maybe somebody else can pick up some tips of how to keep track of their own poker life. Tell us what you're tracking for yourself, if you don't mind.
Uh, no. Actually, there were two flights that day. I can see here. So I just looked up
I love it.
the 2015 schedule. So likely I busted in the first flight and then re-entered the second flight, and there were two more flights the next day that I was able to skip because I managed to make it through
Right.
on day one. Now I just have a spreadsheet with where I just keep track of my buy-ins and my results. And back in the time, actually, I would also put the number of entrants in there and the plays actually that I finished. It's kind of thing that last thing about entries and my own finishing plays I kind of stopped doing. But at least I know all my lifetime results from all the poker that I played. So it's I think it's a good thing that you keep track of your results at least. If you play a reasonable amount of tournaments,
Right.
you can get a little bit of an idea. Of course, there's always a very big amount of variance in poker. There will always be. So one result doesn't mean that you necessarily all of a sudden are the best player
Right.
in the tournament. And if you don't make a result in 20 consecutive tournaments, it also doesn't mean that you're the worst player. So you also have to, like take that, of course, into account. But yeah, I can see that I over the course played. Well, I still need to update some recent results, but I probably am around 1,825 lifetime tournaments or tournament entries that I've done. So
And that
that's
started when, Kenny? What year did you start keeping track?
my first November 2005 was my first live tournament as far as I know, that I played. Like maybe could have been like, we're talking now, almost 20 years ago.
Right.
I might have played a small home game or something with
Sure.
let's say a few tables that I might have not put in there at that time. But my first, let's say, official tournament in a casino was in 11th of November 2005 at the Masterclass of Poker in Amsterdam. 330 euro buy-in, and I had 270 entrants, and I finished. Yeah, I put in 135th, so probably
Good
finished
for you.
around
I love the
halfway.
fact that you have been
Mhm.
keeping records so well
Yeah.
your entire poker life. And I think that
Mhm.
more people should be doing that. Honestly, I think it would keep them more on track. Um,
I think it does, and I think for a lot of players, because a lot of people also have like a recency bias, and it's also the thing where you only it's easy to forget the good things, but people usually forget the bad things. Like when you lose a coin flip with, let's say, pocket tens versus ace king, like people are like, oh, lost another coin flip again, but they forgot about the other times that actually won a coin flip with,
right.
yeah, with their pocket tens. So, like you, at the end of the day, or like at the end of your career, like if you play a reasonable amount of poker, like the amount of coin flips that you won and lost will even out, of course. And then yes, of course, some coin flips, if you lose a coin flip in level 3, it's less relevant than if you lose one, of course, at a final table. But still, like if you look back at your results, you say like, oh, how bad do I run? And then I look at my spreadsheet, and I can say like, well, I think I've done actually pretty well over the course of my career, of course. So yeah, those are definitely like things that that help in that. And I've always been a numbers guy as well, so I keep track of all of my poker things, like
I
even my
love it.
online results as well.
I
Like
love it. And I'm going to tell
they're
you
all
that
in
we're
there.
all, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, like I can see online that I have over 50,000 tournaments played as well. So that's
Amazing.
also a lot of poker that's being played
And
throughout
you
my
know what?
career.
That's a lot of entries into a spreadsheet, sir.
It is, but on the other hand, it's over the course of 20 years. So
Right.
yeah, if you think about in that way, it's 2000, what is it, 2,500 entries per year. And back in the days I used to play a lot of online poker, so it's becoming a second nature. And because I have all of those results, like I don't want to stop now anymore as well, of keeping track of
Well, of
everything. and
course.
and, and especially like online as well, like having a database of 50,000 tournaments that you played throughout your career with all the data in there. That's already a reasonable amount of sample where you can see like, okay, like how well did I do on this sort of buy-in level? How well do I do in small fields? How well do I do in big fields? So to give you an idea, like, okay, like is there a certain level or like a certain buy-in that I maybe should not play anymore, like at
Right.
the moment, because I'm seeing that I'm like losing money in those events, and maybe like move down a little bit in stakes and try to like elevate your game a little bit again before you move back to those stakes, because that's something I've done throughout my career a lot of times. Like sometimes you take never took like big shots, but like you try to move up in buy-ins, like when when things go well, and then
Sure.
you'll of course you come across a bit of more tougher competition, which is normal, and then you have downswings, like those of course happen as well, and then when those downswings happen, like I've never been too afraid to go back actually a few steps as well, like in order just to getting back some confidence, like build some
Just kind of
bankroll
regroup,
again.
right?
Yeah, regroup indeed. That's kind of the word I was
Yeah.
looking for, because like throughout all those 20 years I've played poker, I've seen so many good players come, but also seen as much good players go. And a lot of them like
Right.
was not because they were just tired of the game, but a lot of them times like when they basically went broke because they were too proud of themselves to take a step back, even if it's just for a while, to regroup themselves, like for themselves, and they kept playing and on stakes that they with the bankroll that they have that they shouldn't be playing, and they were very good poker players, like definitely better poker players than I was, and I'm like I never will be the best poker player in the world. I've never been. And I know about that, but one of my strengths that I have is that I have a lot of soft skills. Like I have emotional control. I have always had good bankroll management. I have lots of patience, perseverance, and if you're lacking those skills as a poker player, like of course you need to have a reasonable skill level in the game of poker themselves. But if you're the best poker player out there, but you're missing all those soft skills, then you're never going to make it, because that's just impossible, basically. Because sooner or later you will hit a wall where you can't recover from it anymore, and that's in a way actually a little bit of a shame, because many poker players like could have had a really good career, but because they were not, because all those soft skills, let's say, weren't their strongest things. They had to step away from the game.
Well, I need to make a couple of announcements. First of
Yeah,
all,
no worries.
for the WSOP, everybody needs to download the WSOP Plus app on their phones. Everybody has to have it. So get on the App Store and download it so you can be ready when you get to the WSOP. All you'll have to do is the third step, which is the verification step. So download that WSOP app and get familiar with it. Also, for those of you that are going to be involved with my Spaces fantasy team, poker fantasy team, we're going to have our organizational meeting tomorrow at noon Eastern Time, 9 Pacific. And we're going to just kind of get organized. And if you didn't, if you're not on the team, I'm sorry. I only took 10 people on the team. I didn't want to take more than that. Don't take it as a diss or that I don't love you. It's just I can only take 10 people. So we're going to do a fantasy team, and we're going to draft one officially, and we're going to hopefully have some fun with that this summer. So again, that organizational meetings tomorrow at noon here in the Spaces. So let me, since I brought up the fantasy league, are you coming to the WSOP, and should we make you one of our sneak picks on our fantasy league, Kenny?
No, I wouldn't recommend that to other people. I will be coming to Vegas in the summer, but I won't be there from the start of the of all the whole poker festivals that are happening in town. I'll actually be in Belgium playing Poker Stars open event in the end of May, beginning of June first.
Nice.
So you'll find me there in the beginning, and then once that event is over, around halfway of June, I'll cross the pond and head over to Vegas to play some more, yes, to play some more poker over there, of course.
Well, please consider yourself invited to our Spaces meetup game at the Bellagio on June 21st at 1 p.m. It's going to be a 1-3 cash game, no limit, but of course people can, talk to their dealer, and individual tables can switch up to whatever they want to play. So consider yourself invited. I hope you stop by.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, And of course, like, will all depend on if I don't have a day two or something at the
Right.
moment,
Absolutely. And
which which might of course happen that day. Let me see,
absolutely.
21st of June. Yeah, it will depend actually. See,
And
there's a millionaire. There's the
no
Million Maker
worries.
Flight 1D going on. If maybe I already qualified on the day two of the Millionaire Maker. So yeah, who knows that I
And,
do find
and believe me,
the opportunity to come.
when I do these meetup games during a series, I always tell everybody, just let me know if you're a maybe, because we all know it all depends on if we're on a day two, right? I mean, that's just
Yeah,
the name
and
of the
yeah,
game.
that is indeed the case for a lot of people. Like
Absolutely.
it's impossible to make plans with people during the World Series. Like all the things, the meetings or like dinners, they're all spontaneous. They just always happen
Absolutely.
on the moments themselves, which was different. Like when I think back about the first time when I went to Vegas, was in 2008. The first World Series was in 2009. But back in the day, there was well, one, let's say two events already per day, but there was no re-entry. Like the words just didn't exist basically,
Right.
and so often like you started your event at noon, but by the time it was 8 or let's say 8 p.m., like the majority of the field was already out, and there was nothing else to play. But nowadays, like there's re-entry in basically, well, not every tournament, but probably, I mean, I could actually look it up on my sheet, like but probably 90% of the tournaments do have
Absolutely
a re-entry, have
90%.
registration open nowadays for some events, until like 9 p.m., midnight, or even day two.
Right.
So the action just never stops anymore. Like back in the days as well, it's like sometimes I used to play like some of the sit and goes, because you're out of the tournament. Like, okay, like level two, you're out. It's 2 p.m. There's, okay, well, let's play some sit and goes to make some volume, and to
Or
keep
even play
playing
the
some poker.
nightly. Or even play the
Yeah,
nightly.
indeed, there was, but nowadays, like, you're happy if you have half a day off, basically. Like what, because what I'm doing now, like, if I want to take a day off, it's just a matter of sometimes like, well, I'm just gonna late reg this tournament. Like I just gonna jump in after dinner break and take half the day off. That's what I'm usually do to take a day off. And
Right.
before that, I never had to plan a day, like a day off, because you had so much more dead time. And now there's 24/7 you can register for any tournament. And it's not only at the World Series. Like you can, like when I make my planning, I often have to pick and choose between the venues that I want to play a tournament from. From all, on the
Oh,
strip,
yeah.
from down from MGM all the way up to Resorts World. There's always so many multiple tournaments happening at the same time, of course.
And they're all amazing, right? Like you
And
don't
they
want to
are
miss
indeed,
anything.
indeed, yeah. I mean, poker community definitely grew in the summer as well, because like there's more tournaments, but there's also still like all of those tournaments always get like more and more entries. So that means more and more people are joining the us in Vegas for the summer, which of course is
Absolutely.
a good thing.
Absolutely. Well, I have some questions from Maureen Bloklinger.
Yep.
She is playing and can't join us tonight, but I'm pretty sure she's probably listening. But anyway, I
Is
told
there
her
a
I
time
would.
when Maureen is not playing? Does that
Yeah,
exist?
you know what? I want to be her when I grow up, Kenny. Okay.
Sorry, Maureen.
We love you, Maureen.
Yeah.
All right. Maureen's questions start with, how do you feel about the rake on the dailies at all of the Vegas properties? Would you avoid any events due to the unfair rates?
Well, rake is something, like, you have to look at it in many different ways. Like, first of all, I'm really against like hidden rake fees. Like if the tournament has a certain amount of rake and it's clearly published, it's up to the player to decide whether or not he wants to go there. If there's a tournament and it's say $400 and it's 300 plus $100, that is indeed a lot of rake. And you then might want to say, well, I'd rather play this other tournament that is $360 plus $40 of rake. That decision is up to you. It's the same as you go to a restaurant. Like if there's one restaurant that charges $40 for a steak and there's another restaurant that charges $100 for a steak, you can make the decision, but it has to be clear, of course. Like if they're saying, well, it's $40 for a steak, but then you get the bill and it's $60 for your meal, then that's not fair. That those are like all of those hidden rakes. I'm really against that. If operators do that, I think you always should be straightforward with your rake, and it's up to the players. And sometimes you might want to decide to go to that other venue that charges more rake if you think the experience is better.
Right.
Like maybe the service is better, the deals might be better, you just enjoy the environment more there. Like it's up to you to decide where you want to play and how much rake do you want to pay. But sometimes you also have to look at absolute numbers. Like, let's say, 30% rake sounds a lot, but if it's for $100 tournament and it's 100 plus a $30, that's sounds like a lot of rake, but in absolute numbers, you're only paying $30 of rake. Like if you get a full day tournament out of that, that's for or an afternoon or an evening tournament, like for an evening of entertainment, because at the end of the day, that's kind of what poker still is. Like it is for a lot of people a form of entertainment. Like you pay $30 in rake. I don't think that's a lot of money. Like there's people that need to serve you. Like there's operational costs that they have. Like those dealers also need to earn a wage. Like they also need to be able to pay their monthly bills. And if you pay $30, like I say, for an evening of entertainment, like if you're gonna go to a concert or a sports game, you're gonna end up it's gonna end up costing you a lot of more money as well. So it's up to you to decide again like what you want to do. But like for me in that sense, like it's not necessarily always like a lot of rake if you look at it in absolute numbers. Of course, if a tournament of $1,000 would charge $300 of rake, then things starts to sound to become quite expensive, I would say. But coming back to Maureen's question, again, it's up to you to decide like how much do you value the things. Like you want to take the structure, of course, into account as well. Like I say, all the service and
sure,
you have to make the decision for yourself. And if I look at a tournament and I see they charge a high amount of rake and it's not necessarily a venue that I'm very excited to go to, then yes, I might skip that tournament. But if they charge 20% more than the tournaments across the street, but I really enjoy the tournament and the food and the service at the table is much better, I might decide to go to that venue where they charge a little bit more rake, just because, for me, that extra investment that I need to make is worth for me to go there.
Right, for the experience. Now, another part of the question she adds is, what can players do to encourage operators to charge less of a rake?
I mean, you can always talk. Like we as poker operators, we want to make sure that the players are happy as well, because we want our players to make sure that they have a good time when they come to a venue and that they are encouraged to come to a venue. And you can always like as far as I know, like pretty much all poker operators are always happy to sit down with players and listen to the feedback that they can give. But of course, rake is always a sensitive topic, because there are a reasonable amount of costs like with involved in poker. And for a lot of operators, like let's say casinos, poker is a marketing product. Like they're happy if they can be break even at the end of the day with their poker if after all costs are done, because it just attracts customer to the casino who might then spend money in other parts of the casino as well. So it's not always straightforward to put to ask for a low rake. But I feel sometimes that poker players can be a little bit too sometimes their requests not always are in line, I think, with
Sure.
with
I,
their like there's people, they would come, let's say they play, they pay $100 a rig, and they would expect that you come them a hotel for the night and give them dinner for free. But that's that's a lot of money that you would ask in return for only for your $100, while the cost would still be there, of course, for the operator.
of course.
uh and it's up to the operators to decide how they want to run their poker room. Do they want to charge maybe a little bit less rig, hoping that more players will come, or do they want to still charge, let's say, a normal rig, but try to really focus on the experience and just offer a little bit of extra value to the players, and whether it's in comps when you play cash game, or put some promotions in there, like a free roll, or add some extra value to it, like a leaderboard or something, for example, like like with PokerStars as well. Like we do have like our PS Live League, uh like we with PokerStars, we charge, let's say, an industry standard rate. Like we're definitely not the lowest, but we're definitely also not the highest. But we try to offer a really good experience in forms of like train our dealers to the highest standards, have our security like security standards are also like extremely high at all of our PokerStars events that we are running. So that comes with also like a lot of extra investment in like, for example, like cameras
Of
and
course.
stuff and all of these things. So it and players still come to our come to our events, because they really appreciate all the efforts that we do for our players. And but we also constantly are listening to players as well. Like it's actually one, like my job as well as a PokerStars live events advisor. I'm also a player liaison. Like I talk a lot with people and ask them for feedback and what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see on the schedule, what you don't like on the schedule. Like all of these small things, we try to make sure that our players, when they come here, that that there's always something for them to play for, and to make sure that they have a really good player experience as well. Like something like we now started as well is like actually sort of rewards program, like a tiered rewards program, like you have in the Vegas casinos, that and you do have on our online platform as well. Like we now have something for life, so our the people that play a lot of events, so to say, like they will have some extra, you can get some extra benefits actually out of it as well, if they play a lot of poker with us.
Well, and I think any good operator knows the value of the customer, and every good customer knows the value of a good operator. And that's why we keep going back to those good operators and those rooms that have people operating them with everyone's best interest in mind, for sure. Now, before I continue on with my questions, there's a couple of folks that are on the panel, and I'm going to give them a chance to ask you any questions or comments before I move on. Burroughs, welcome. Do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Kenny?
Hello.
Um, Forgive me if you've answered this before, but I'm just curious to know, back when they had the November 9, when you made that final table, were you glad to have that time off, or would you have rather played the final table the next day?
Great question.
Yeah, that is a good question. There's pros and cons to it. Back in the day, during the November 9 era, uh, like live streaming of poker wasn't, and social media wasn't as it is today at the moment. So what they did back then on ESPN was actually, I think, a great product at the time. Like they would record everything from the main event, and then later on, starting somewhere, I don't know, let's say August, September, they would start the weekly streams, and they would build a whole story about everything. But nowadays, live streaming is there, and we can literally watch people play poker on a 30 minutes delay, and that's what people want. Like you don't nowadays wouldn't watch the Super Bowl anymore at the end of March when it's getting played in February, of course, because it's not going to be fun watching anymore if you know the results kind of already. So the live experience and the live streaming is kind of changed it, because now they are streaming from let's say from day one onwards basically, and people can basically watch everything in live. The good thing about it as well is when it gets played out the next day is that for the players you still have that history between each other. Like there's whatever like things happened on days before leading up to the final table, and what happens then is that people have reads and people, and there's tendencies and there's history between players, and when you go to November 9, you're basically getting a whole new reset because everybody had months off to prepare, and everybody starts basically with a fresh mind to it. And what you're playing is actually just a sitting row at that time where everybody starts, with a little bit of different chip stacks, of course, but everybody is sort of fresh again. And that history that you have created throughout the days leading up to the final table isn't just there anymore. So the sort of tendencies at the final table were a lot different than they are today at the moment. So in that sense, I think you get more pure poker being played if the final table gets played the next day. Like one of the advantages, though, that I found that I had was that I was able to get friends and family over to Vegas for the summer. For the November 9 final table, which is something, of course, that's not really possible anymore. I can't really say, like, hey, guys, I made the final table. Can you please take a flight tomorrow morning and come to Vegas? Like, that's a bit difficult, especially from people that have to come from overseas. So it has its pros and its cons, but I think the way it's being done right now is fine, I think, and they probably should keep it that way.
Yeah. Sherry, forgive me if I'm wrong, but don't they have a day off in between when they make the final table now? So there's actually a day off in between.
Yes.
There is 1 day off. Yeah, there's 8 days to get down to the final table, and then there's the day off, and then the final table gets played over 2 more days. But that's only a day off, and you just need that day basically to rest. Like, and of course you can prepare a little bit, but there's the preparation that you can get in over the course of those, let's say, 10 hours you got free during that day is like none compared to anything you otherwise would have compared to over a couple of months. And because those days are like, they can be long, and it is a long tournament. Because 8 days to get down to a final table is long, and you're playing poker at the highest stakes, and mentally your brain is functioning at full capacity, like when you're playing, and because of those long days you get tired of it, like not tired of it, you just get tired. You're not tired of it, of poker, of course, but on the other hand, there's a little bit the adrenaline that keeps you, of course, going. But I do remember that. I mean, I had literally the privilege of in 2015, 16, and 17. 2015 I finished 123rd. In 2016, final table, and then in the next year, in 2017, I was 64th, I think, and. So it was, like the main event around that period for me was something really extraordinary. It felt like I couldn't do anything wrong, basically. But I remember, like, on some of those days, like near the end of the day, making small mistakes that were definitely due to fatigue, like overlooking a raise, miscalculating the size of the pot in your head, and just putting in a completely wrong bet size, basically, and that's because those days are so long, of course. But that extra day off is, I think, welcome for the players as well. It gives them at least like the ability to get in 2 nights of sleep before they start the biggest final table of their career, of course.
And I think that that one day off is important. To give the folks a chance to rest, so to speak. I'm going to
Yeah.
let Isaac go next. Isaac, and I also want you not only to, if you have any questions or comments for Kenny, but if you want to tell us about your part of the Green Visor Gang, for those that don't know, and the event you have coming up to get somebody's going to be lucky enough to get a package, including a main event seat. So go ahead, Isaac. Uh-oh, did we lose him? Isaac, are you there, bud? We may have lost him. Hit that microphone button, Isaac. We'll come back to him in a minute. Burroughs, did you have anything else, bud? Am I losing the space?
No, I mean, I can still hear you at least.
Okay, so anybody else in the audience that wants to come up with questions or comments, go ahead and request a microphone in the bottom left corner. Kenny, what's the most rebuys you've ever done in a tournament?
Online, there's probably some tournaments where I did a lot of rebuys, definitely back in when the rebuys did exist. Re-entries, well, I don't really take that into account. For me, a re-entry, I'm just starting a new tournament, and I don't think about entries that I made before. Like, it's either for me, it's a good tournament to play, and I decide to make a re-entry, or it's not. So if I get eliminated of a tournament and there's a re-entry option, I think it's still a good time for me to re-enter in this tournament, I will do it. And yeah,
well,
I think I never exaggerated with like things as well, because also one of the things is when I'm eliminated from a tournament, I never jump in straight away. I will always take at least a little bit of a break. Like, I can just like go for a small walk, try to reset a little bit, just maybe think about some of the hands that I played, like just try to clear my mind a little bit before I sit down. Like, just take a small breather basically, and then go from there again. I mean, I remember last year at EPT Cyprus, I had 7 entries in their opening event, in the 1000 opening event. But that was also, it had, I think, 4 different flights or something. So
right. Well, let me
in that sense, it's nothing too extraordinary, to say. Yeah.
Right. Well, let me just explain a couple things to you. Here in Spaces, we've had several discussions about the rebuys or re-entries, which was really sparked because Cody Stanford recently rebought 36 times into a $400 tournament. And so if I said to you, Kenny, the world of poker is putting in a new rule in place and we want your input. We're going to limit the number of rebuys or re-entries into all the tournaments in the world.
Yeah, you got my vote.
How many rebuys would that be? How many rebuys would you say players should be allowed?
For me, a single re-entry is the sweet spot for me. Like, if you take into account, like online, of course, like you can just literally sit down on your couch or in front of your computer in your pajamas, and if you're eliminated, well, you go to bed, or you go and prepare dinner or something. Whereas, like, if in a live poker tournament, people often, like, they take their evening off, they take their day off, they have to travel to the poker, like to the venue where the event is getting organized, and then if you get eliminated, let's say on hand number 3 that you play, like, it is a bit annoying that you're then basically done for the rest of the day or for the rest of your evening. So you want to give the ability then to those players to re-enter again. Let's say maybe 2 re-entries in that sense would be a good thing. I think for main events, where there's a lot of people that qualified for the event, I think a single re-entry is fine. Like for example, our EPT main events, we do allow for a single re-entry, still to keep a little bit of a good balance between, sorry, where like to limit the amount of entries that a potential, let's say, a high stakes professional player could make. So just to try to level the playing field at least a little bit more, because nothing would be more annoying if you're let's say you, for $300 you qualify for a $3,000 main event, like you battle a whole day with some good players, you manage to knock a few out, and then the next day they're next to you again. That feels just like a little bit, feels a little bit wrong in a sense. So I think that's a good way to, like, or a good reason for us to limit the amount of entries in certain events. Of course, re-entries are nice if for, like, and they got invented like years ago with the idea of, we're going to offer a small buy-in event and I'm going to put a huge guarantee on it. Like if you do a $400 event, then you're guaranteeing $1 million, you need 2,500 entries. And if you're only thinking about attracting 1,000 unique players, you will have to allow for multiple re-entries, of course. But it is nice because it's for a $400 event. You can create a huge first place prize, and I think it's fine to have those from time to time. But then like I say, like for prestigious main event at a high buy-in where there's a lots of people that qualified either in live satellites, in online satellites, like you wanna keep leveling that a little bit out. And I think festival organizers as well, what they should do more, because it's create more side events, and then players that are like, if you limit the amount of re-entries, then you can still like create side events for those people to play. Like if they then want to play something else, they still can. But now they give the excuse of, well, we can't organize any side events because all of our tables are occupied with the main event. Well, yes, they are all occupied with the main event because it's unlimited re-entry. So that's the reason why you don't have any space. Like if you would have limited the amount of re-entries, you might have had tables free and could offer side events and still keep your main event sort of like, sort of a more exclusive event.
Right. Now, let me just say to you, what would you think if this person rebought 36 times into the $400 tournament, but was going all in blind every hand?
Yeah. Like, in a way, of course, it's up to the player to, like, if a player paid his entry into a certain event, like, there's no rules in how you have to play. Like, I mean, you need to stick within the rules of the game, of course, but there's no rule that says like you can't go all in in poker. But it can create a little bit of a, like, and theoretically they should be happy, like as a player at the table, so to speak. Like if there's somebody at your table that goes all in blind every hand, but it just can create a little bit of a weird poker experience for a new player as well. Like they might just feel a little bit scared actually in a way as well if they have that type of player at their table, and it wouldn't help their playing their playing experience as well.
Right.
So if that could also indeed be a reason why you should why we should wouldn't hurt to put a limit to the amount of entries that players can do in certain events.
And to Cody's defense, because I interviewed him shortly after he did it, to his defense, he said, "I'll keep doing it as long as they let me." He said, honestly, 3 rebuys would be fine in his eyes. So, or I think he said 3 or 5. I can't remember. I think he said 3 though. So he's even on board with limiting the rebuys. So, which I thought was interesting because I really thought he was going to be like, "No, I don't want you to limit me," right? But no, he was fine with limiting him.
Of course, like I say, it does create a bigger prize pool, but I think it does downgrade the playing experience, especially for new play. Like if I personally wouldn't care if there's somebody in the tournament or I mean, I'd rather we actually would have the player at my table if he decides to go all in every hand. Like I would be able to adapt to it properly, like and adjust my
But at the same token,
my
you're still
strategy at the point.
you're
Yeah,
calling saying a Hail Mary and an Our Father when you're throwing your chips in there to challenge him, because lo and behold, he's going to beat you with 7 deuce offsuit, and your pocket aces are going to get cracked, right?
yeah, sure. But I mean, yeah, but if I mean, yeah, if I have Queen 7 suited, yeah, I'm happy to to gamble with him, because I know it will be, let's say, a good investment of my chips
Right,
at the time. But yeah, like I do have lots of experience, and for me, like I treat poker like as more as a job, of course. Whereas somebody that wants to be there to have a fun evening and play some flops, and after a full day of work and just play some normal poker. That's not a great experience
right. Where
that you're creating for that
they
player.
can't afford more rebuys, right? So,
And yeah, also like for that player, if they say like, well, I gotta do one or maybe two entries, and then you're busting your because the guy went all in with with his two napkins, and you finally found a hand with your ace jack. But yeah, he still of course had 40% versus you, and
right. And
it means a
I'm
lot of the
blowing my
times you got
nose
to
and
get
wiping my
eliminated.
tears with his 2 napkins. So
Yeah.
I'm going to move us along. Do you think operators should facilitate chops?
Yes. Yeah. 100%. Like when if two players agree that that they want to chop the prize pool or a portion of the prize pool, then I think as an operator, it is your job to protect the players as well. I think in the past there are some bad stories of like operators not facilitating, and then let's say there's $10,000 first place, $6,000 second place, and two players say, well, let's take 8,000 each, but then they don't facilitate, and then the guy that got the 10,000 just runs out of the casino
Right.
with it, and the other guy is just basically got stolen $2,000 for him. So
Right.
I think it's just for clarity, for everything, like for like just to avoid all of these things. Could also be for tax reasons and stuff, or like for big tournaments where players have sold a share, that it's clear for everybody like what the eventual prize is that they that players
It
received,
just kind of
and
keeps everybody honest,
transparency basically
right?
is sorry.
I said it really just keeps everybody honest.
It does indeed, and it's like and at the end of the day, it's the players themselves that pulled up the prize pool. Like it's not in any other sport where money comes in from the outside through sponsorship and other things. Like in poker, it's the players that foresee the prize pool, what to play for, and then if there's two players left in the tournament and or multiple people, and they want to eat, everybody's happy to take their share, their equity that they're having at the moment, and call it a day, then sure, let them, and facilitate as an operator, because only bad things basically can happen if you don't facilitate, and that will like create a bad name for your poker room as well, of course, so or for your venue. So that's something you actually
And
don't want,
and
and
that's
it's
just
usually not. It's a
difficult.
small effort. Like
Yes.
it takes. It only takes a few minutes extra for one person basically to adjust the payouts, let's say, in the system, and go from there. So no, I think facilitate shops, and publish them to the media as well, because like so often, like in the past, like actually that a deal has made, but then still they would publish, well, player X won $1 million, but in theory, like there were four players left, and everybody took let's say 600,000 or whatever, like home with them. So like that, if you really want to put like it's a little bit of wrong thinking for me that you want to put the focus on whatever the first place player received in the tournament. Like it's at the end of the day, that's not gonna make or break your tournament for marketing reasons if they have decided to chop it up. So yeah, no, facilitate it.
I appreciate that answer. Okay. Do you think a player that has been caught cheating online and banned from that site should be banned from live poker events, card rooms, or casinos?
It is a tricky one because
Very.
and there's various forms of cheating, of course, that happened as well, and it it really depends to what degree somebody has made a mistake, just like in real life as well. Like if like like committing like a robbery comparing to stealing a can of beer is definitely not in the same category as well, and people will get different sentences, of course, for that as well. And just like in poker, there's different sorts of cheating or misconduct that can happen, and it's up to the poker operators to decide, like, if they do want to allow a player to let them play at their venue or not. But of course, we have to always keep game integrity like as our number one thought, basically, when we do operate. So like if we have players that have been called, and like there are players, for example, that are not allowed to play any PokerStars live events because they do have there is a certain history that's because they have done something wrong in the past, and therefore we do not allow them to play, just to make sure we keep our game integrity to the highest standards. But and a global blacklist, you can't just make it. That's for a lot of legal reasons as well.
Absolutely. If they don't do anything
That's
in my establishment, I can't hold them accountable for what they did in someone else's establishment. It
yeah
becomes very tricky.
It is indeed, like if it's like different country states all have different laws, and you're so we can't just make a blacklist of things as well, and it would be very sensitive, of course, as well, because who knows, like maybe somebody might try to put somebody on the blacklist that he just got bad beated from or something, and people might not be rightfully on that list, and then there's people that maybe like for a very small very small thing that they did might get banned worldwide, which might be a little bit of an exaggeration as well.
Right.
And I think you have to judge every case individually.
I totally agree. If you could change one thing in the poker world, what would it be?
Like stalling has become one of my pet peeves recently, and I've like, especially around bubbles and money jumps, and I've have been thinking in recent times as well about and discussing with other players, other people like within PokerStars, other operators as well, like how to avoid players from being able to stall the game in order to gain an advantage. I haven't like really come up with a proper solution to like where everything is solved.
Right.
Like there are things that you can do, of course, as an operator. Like with PokerStars, we do have like shot locks in certain events, and we do have certain procedures for people that would just like leave a small amount behind and then wait until somebody else would bust on another table. Like there's things like like people can be put on a 5-second automatic shot locks. We do have soft hands for hand at our
Right.
final two tables. All of these things, we play hands per level at final tables instead of minutes per level. Like all of these small things, and they all definitely help. But it's a bit of it's a bit of the prisoner's dilemma, of course, because if nobody would do it, then it would still be the same for everybody. But if one person does it, then the other person also feels that they should do it. So it's a bit of a tricky situation.
Yes.
And of course, the bubble will always be part of it's a certain phase in a poker tournament as well, where indeed play will slow down. Yeah, of course, a little bit, but even also been thinking about like should be like change payout structures so that the incentive would be less there for players to stall. Like but like I say, like no proper. I haven't come up with a waterproof solution, so to speak.
Right. All right. I've invited Matt up. Matt, do you have some questions or comments for Kenny?
Hey Sherry, thanks for having me on, and hello to you, Kenny. How are you doing, man? Keeping well?
Good. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, all good. Hopefully yourself as well.
Yeah, good. Thanks. Yeah, not too bad. Lovely to talk to you. I've been watching you on the on YouTube with the ETP Monte Carlo. You're playing very well at the moment. How are you? How are you finding it yourself? The past couple of days. Do you think you've played really good?
Well, I had quite a good series. Like, EPT Monte Carlo has now come, well, for me personally, to an end. Tomorrow is the last day, but I will be traveling home. But I think I had 6 cashes in total over the course of the whole festival. Over the, what is it, 10, 11 days of poker that I played. So it was a very good festival. Actually, played some, was a lot of poker, like, playing until late in the evening and then, restarting again the next day and then again playing a whole day. So there was definitely some fatigue, I would say, near the end, because in that sense, I was running a little bit too good. Actually, maybe you're hearing it about my voice. I have a little bit of a cold probably as well because of a little bit of the shorter nights that I had and the long days that I had at the poker table. So I would say I was happy with my play in the first week, and taking the last few days, I still need to rethink about a couple of hands that I played. Might have made a few mistakes, but that happens sometimes. Like, you're never going to be at your A+ game for your whole career, of course. Like, as long as you play to the best of your abilities at the time, then things are always fine for me.
That was fantastic. That's a good one. Who do you admire in poker, past or present?
Good question. I never really been a fanboy or anything. There's sorry. There's of course many good players out there, but I can't really think of a name straight out of the top of my head of like I want to be that guy. I think Niklas Ostad actually is one of the names maybe that now comes to mind. As of course Mates got in third last year in the main event, but is of course more known as an online player, and I just think he's one of the best. Like, still, like, playing all the tournaments, I would say pretty much all day, every day, and just always is there, and always performing quite well. Like, just has an insanely good record, and still, like, I admire him that he's still, like, after all those years, still founds the motivation even to turn on his computer every day and sign up for the big 09 on PokerStars every day, so to speak. So that's something that I think really admire in him as a player.
Awesome. Go ahead, Matt.
Sherry, much as I would love to, I'm going to have to call it a night because I want to give other people a chance to.
Well, I appreciate you, Matt, as always. You're always bringing great questions. Have a good evening, my friend.
Oh, bless you, Sherry. Thank you so much. And lovely talking to
Matt.
you as well, Kenny. You're welcome, Kenny. All the best.
Have a good evening.
Good luck.
Thank you.
You as well. Best of luck, mate. All the best. Thanks, Sherry.
Thanks, Matt. All right, Kenny. I brought up earlier that you are the guru of the summer spreadsheet. And now that we got an
Correct.
example of your personal spreadsheet, we know that you are the guru of the summer spreadsheet. So, how did that get started? How did you get started doing that spreadsheet?
Well, like I said, my first World Series was in 2009.
Right.
Yes, 2009. And yeah, I've been back to Vegas for the summer every year since, apart from COVID's year 2020. But I always wanted always, of course, like being a very yeah a big poker player. Like, always wanted to play lots of passionate poker player was the word I was looking for. Like, always wanted to play lots of poker. And of course, at the time, there were already then like multiple venues that did have a summer festival going on. Like, I remember, Caesar's Palace, the Venetian, Planet Hollywood. I think
Yeah, the
those were
Goliath.
some of the. Think I'm not. Yeah, I think those were one of the first ones. Binions actually at the time as well. Golden Nuggets, like they all like have like are one of the longer running poker series in the summer. So I think in 2010, when I wanted to make my personal schedule, like it was hard to make a day-to-day schedule a little bit beforehand, because you're looking at so many different schedules that are all published in a different format. And I was like, okay, let me just put it in one sheet altogether, so I have a good overview of what's happening on a day-to-day basis. So put them all in a sheet, and kind of was easy actually for me at that point to make my plan, because I could say, okay, there's this tournament happening today at the Venetian, and this tournament happening at Caesar's Palace. So
Right.
it was easy to make my schedule. And I never really made it with the intention to share. Not that I did not wanted to, but it was more of like, who's gonna use this like schedule that this spreadsheet nerd put together here? But then the next year, I made it again and forwarded it to some friends, and they found it helpful, and then they forwarded it to some friends, and that's kind of how the ball,
I love it.
how the ball started rolling, basically. And then I sort of like made it like publicly available for everybody to easily find it and download the spreadsheets
Well,
to use it. And I've been doing it every year since. But the main reason I'm doing it is still for myself, so that I can
right.
make my own schedule for the summer. That's still reason number one for me to do it. And I'm, like I said, but I'm happy to share it
So tell me, how do
with the
you get the
community.
data? How do you get the data?
I'm in good contact with most poker operators on in Vegas. So what I'm just asking is for them to send me actually their Excel sheet with
Gotcha.
their schedule. That makes it way easier for me.
Right.
Although, like nowadays, like I think, which one was it? Yeah, the Orleans one. Actually, when I got it, it was just in a regular PDF, and I think I just send it to AI basically, and say like, hey, can you make this in a spreadsheet? And 10 seconds later, it was there
I
in the
love it.
spreadsheet. So
I love it.
things like technology definitely helps a little bit nowadays. And I'm quite handy with Excel, but getting the schedules in Excel, then it's just a little bit of cutting,
Data
copying, and
manipulation.
pasting, and make it like into my own layout a little
Right.
bit, so
And
that
so
it's
for
still
those that are
yeah.
listening, I'm just going to say Kenny puts out a spreadsheet every summer that has all of the tournaments all over Vegas on one spreadsheet, and you can do sorts of that spreadsheet. So if you're looking for all the seniors events, you can sort it by senior events. So
Yeah.
it's a great tool for, like Kenny said, planning your summer. Of course, I'm already used it, and I've already made my notebook because I'm going to do the daily WSOP and poker in Vegas coverage. It's a daily space where we go over the schedule every day, the winners from yesterday, the hot news. Players stop in and tell us what they're going through in Vegas at the time. hot topics. We go through it all. And of course, I've already printed out, I've captured by day the tournaments, and I've made my notebook. So every day I have the schedule of what I'm going to read in my daily space. So I find it very handy. And Kenny has put it in a spreadsheet. And how can they find your spreadsheet, Kenny?
It's pinned to my Twitter profile.
So follow Kenny, and you'll see when you go to his profile, you'll see how to get to the spreadsheet. It's very easy.
Yeah, it is.
Also,
I mean, all schedules at the moment are on there. Actually, while I was waiting for the spaces here to start, I was adding some structure sheets to it. So I guess by the end of next week, it's like this links to pretty much all of the structure sheets should be on there as well, and it should be then complete in time before the first festivals will start in
awesome.
I guess around 2 weeks from now.
Awesome. And I also want to say when you go on to the spreadsheet at the top, it has an area that tells you how you can tip Kenny for his efforts. So don't forget to send him a little tip, because, he's doing this for us and our convenience, and it's a lot of work. So go ahead and tip him a little something, folks, for sure. And you will never find a better tool to have for the summer than Kenny's
Yeah,
spreadsheet.
it is indeed handy, and you can just actually you can download your or like make your own copy and then actually calculate your own buy-ins and then use the filter function and such as well. And it's quite mobile friendly, I would say, as well. So if you're in town and if you're playing in and you get eliminated, it's easy to look up what other events will be going on at that day. So you can grab a taxi and go to the next venue to play another event
Absolutely.
if you want.
Absolutely. And you can sort it any way you want to meet your
Indeed,
needs.
there is a filter option indeed as well for if you're looking for if you're a big O player, like you can filter like on or like for those types of events, or if you want to play horse or like mixed games or seniors event, as you say, ladies events, like you can filter for those different
Absolutely.
types of events, or like filter for buying if you let's say like you have a maximum buying that you want to spend, just set the filter to a certain maximum buying, and then you'll see all the events what you that are within your bankroll.
Absolutely. I see Isaac has rejoined the living. Are you there, Isaac? You want to give us a little update on what the Green Visor gang's doing?
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate that. I mean, great interview. Honestly, I've just been having a great time listening to everything. Nice to meet you, Kenny.
Hi, Isaac. Nice meeting you.
Yeah, dude, I actually, the moment I followed you at the beginning of the space, I checked out the spreadsheet, and I mean, to me, it is already like a feat of wizardry to put
Yeah,
together a spreadsheet to begin
yeah.
with. So that's really dope that you actually took all of that information. That is wild, man. Like, I'm gonna use it, so I appreciate it. Definitely gonna show some love. Gonna show this to a few people in the Green Visor gang. That's our online poker club. I'm sure everybody will find it very valuable. Super dope, man. Super dope. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Isaac, go ahead and give us a 30-second commercial about your event.
Okay. We are for the second year in a row doing a WSOP satellite. We call it the GVG One Shot. It's 27 seats. Each seat is $600. It's a very very short field. Um, Basically, the winner gets a WSOP main event seat and accommodations, and or they can, if they can't make it and they don't want to compete in Vegas or can't compete in Vegas, they can do a final table chop that awards the final like all nine people of the final table something. Obviously, they're going to take the lion's share. Um, we just started, I guess you could say, minting this, and we're going to be doing that until about the 7th of July, I believe, 6th or 7th of July. Um, yeah.
No,
Uh,
of June. Don't you mean of June?
well, I'm sorry. Yes, of June. Thank you.
Of June. June, June,
Yeah.
June. Okay,
brain's still a little baked. But
that's
it's
okay.
so hot out here today. My God, like it's crazy. We've had beautiful weather, right? It's rained in May in LA. That is already rare enough, right?
Now
And
it's
then
hot.
like it went from all of that niceness to just horrific 90-degree hot ass LA weather. It's
Well,
drained me. I hope
you're
to survive.
look, you're talking to someone that has 90 plus 90 humidity, so I
I
get it.
know, I know. Trust me. I wouldn't even be able to put words together if I was in 90-degree humidity. So, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
thank you for that update. If you're an online player, I highly recommend you get with Isaac and talk to him about playing his tournament. You have a 1 in 27 seat chance of winning that package, and that's great value for sure. So
Yeah,
thank you, Isaac. I appreciate you.
I
Avi,
appreciate you, Cherry.
I thank you. Avi, do you have any questions or comments for Kenny? Welcome.
Sorry, I don't. I was kind of in and out. I was doing some stuff, but yeah.
All right, we'll get back to you in a minute then. How about that? No worries, bud. No worries at all. Kenny, is there anything you
Yep.
want to plug? Where's the next Poker Star stop?
Next stop for me will be PokerStars Open number in Belgium, starting about 2 weeks from now, I guess. 2 or 3 weeks. I think it's in 2 weeks starting. So yeah, you'll find me there. Like around it. It's actually starting in 3 weeks from now. Yeah, the 28th of May. So yeah, I'll be there for the better part of a week. To play main event and lots of side events that are going on over there. And in the meantime, there's actually the big scoop. Our PokerStars biggest online series is starting this Sunday. So yeah, in the meantime, I'll be playing a bit online. So getting away a little bit from the live felt. Getting some exercise in online for the many more live stops that are ahead on the horizon.
Awesome. I appreciate that update. I'd like to play a little game called Rapid Fire. I'm going to give you two answers to choose from, or
Okay.
if you want to pass, you can pass. Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
Mayo or ketchup on your French fries?
Mayo.
Mountains or beach?
Mountains.
Swiss chocolate or Belgium chocolate?
Belgium.
I didn't even finish the question. Cook or do the dishes?
Cook.
Pizza or burger?
Burger.
Texting or phone call?
Texting. No, phone. No, phone call. Phone call.
All right.
But short, like.
Yeah, no
Okay,
long
maybe,
conversation.
but like, no, like I'm not a fan of like texting back and forth. I like to keep things like as efficient as possible. Like
I
if
agree.
yeah,
I so agree with that statement.
yeah,
Football, as in soccer, or cricket?
soccer, football. So yeah,
Team chop or team no chop?
depends. Depends on the situation, the stakes, the opponent.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree, because if I'm at a home game with a bunch of friends, I'm gonna chop so everybody goes home happy, right?
yeah,
So
and
I agree. I totally agree. Well, unless anybody else has any questions or comments, we're going to let you off the hook, Kenny, so you can hopefully go to sleep soon. And I appreciate you being up in the wee hours of the morning for this interview. It's been nice to get to know you a little bit better. Isaac, did you have something to add?
Actually, I did have one last question earlier. I
Sure.
was waiting to ask something, but I got a call that came in. My question actually was, Kenny, like after all these years, right? You've been tracking yourself and playing so much. Like, what's one factor that you could say out of all of that stood out to you that's like consistent? Is there something that like, a metric that you found maybe by tracking all of like for all of these years?
Great question.
it is. Just trying to, yeah. So wouldn't know specifically an answer to it though. I would actually, need to deep dive a little bit in there. I mean, like, I think the obvious thing is that the lower the stakes are, the better my performance, like, always is. But that's normal for every poker player. Like, the higher you move up in stakes, the competition is gonna get tougher, and your ROI and things will go down. But like, when I zoom out on my poker graph, like, I can see a constant uptrend, and I think that's something that's very satisfactory for me. Like, of course, when you zoom in on your poker graph, like, it there's a lot of upswings and there's a lot of downswings, and that's depending on the cards that you are getting dealt. Like, if we gonna play a game right now, like, luck will decide who will win today. But if we gonna start to play every day now for the next few years, over time, like, the more experienced players, like, will start to come out. Like, we'll have better track record, of course. So, like, still, that I've, throughout all those 20 years that I've been playing poker, that I'm still can compete. Actually, I think that's, for me, the most satisfactory thing. Like, when I started, like, somewhat of a professional career, I was hoping to do it for a few years, like, because as Sherry put up in the beginning, as well. Like, I worked as a factory electrician, and I was like, okay, let's try this for a little bit, and then for a few years, and then probably after that, just go back to the factory. But now I'm here again, like, 20 years, or like 15 plus, or well, will it be 17 years later, and I'm still around. So that's, for me, the most satisfactory thing to me, that I, throughout all those years, that I have overcome the bad times as well, that I'm still managed to compete today, and that I basically have made my dreams come true. Like, I never thought to this day that I would still be able to play this game, and that's, I think, one of my most proudest things that I have.
That's awesome. Very cool.
Thanks for that answer, man. I really appreciate that, Kenny. Followed you
No
too,
worries.
man. Followed you
Thanks.
too,
Have a good
man.
evening.
Excited, to see what you do, man. Hella,
Yeah,
like,
thanks.
super dope.
Awesome. Kenny, thank you so much. I'm going to let you off the hook. I appreciate
No
you
worries.
spending your time with us in the wee
Yeah, no,
hours.
was happy to be here, and and then maybe see you in what is it? Like, in next month in Vegas.
Hope so. I will
Yeah,
look forward to it, for sure. And of course, I hope you can join us for the meetup game. If not, I just hope our paths cross at some point in time.
yeah, sure. Okay, have a good evening.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Kenny.
Sherry.
Appreciate you. And I appreciate my audience that's been listening tonight. If you're not on the felt this weekend, get out and touch the grass, people. And have a good one. Appreciate y'all. Good night.